Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. Before we get going, yes, there's some more new stuff behind me. Things are starting to come together here at the apartment, and got some of my art and posters up on the wall. So obviously, R.I.P. Chad Boseman, gotta have Black Panther up there. A little Harley Quinn action. The Avengers A, broken up from the 4 Avengers movies that was put together for the Marvel 22 movie marathon going to Endgame that I went to. This piece of Into the Spider-Verse is a piece of art I got at New York Comic Con last year that was really, really dope. And then obviously at Endgame, AMC did a really, really cool I Love You 3000 Iron Man kind of poster. So pumped to get all those things up and seeing the apartment really start to come together. But while I've been doing that and working, I've had to work in some of our boys, man. We got 2 episodes. I was like caught up, and now 2 episodes behind again. We got only 2 episodes left with this coming weeks and the following. So had to catch up, and now it's time to dive back in. So why don't you pull up a chair, man, take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in, spoiler free, into The Boys, Season 2, Episode 5, We Gotta Go Now. And much like the preceding episode, this episode, a lot more story to dive into, and mainly to build out the 2 main storylines for Butcher and Homelander. And while it's more story than like things that made you go, oh, or laugh out loud, because the deep is hanging around, we still got some laughs.
The kind of man sees the potential in all of us. So join us at the Church of the Collective. A bunch of bullshit.
It used to be.
Fuck pig.
Everyone in that city ate. I'm Kaya. Fuck the guy with Untitled Chapter. Right up through it. And so are you.
And with things going on with Homelander and Butcher, and just the boys in general, we got some oh shit moments. Oh no! Wait, what? Yeah. Face off his face. Oh, that's what. Oh my lord. Oh god. Oh my. Oh my god. Dude, I tell you, man, while, like I said, the brunt of the story specifically in episode 5 is surrounding Homelander and Butcher, the little tidbits we got were the ones that really popped, specifically that moment for Kimiko. We continue in very, very small chunks with Kimiko, start to learn more about her power set and what she can do, and like she finds new ways with her strength to just make you go, what? Like, why would you do that to anybody? That was one of the most grisly deaths of the year coming at the hands of Kimiko, and she's had a few. And just watching her do anything action oriented is just absolutely phenomenal. Like, I could watch her just go ham all day long. I can't get enough of Karen Fukuhara's performance. Like, it's so subtle. But when she's not breaking people in half, when she's given real acting moments, she has a moment with Frenchie in like a church that rips your heart out of your chest, man. Like, she is just on fire this season. Like I said, only a couple small beats for Kimiko this week, and Fukuhara just crushes all of it, from the oh my goodness to the I feel so much for this person, because we've seen how she can communicate, starting to understand things that she wants to say, while, Frenchie and the others can't. And it's just adding this angst, and you just feel for Kimiko. And like I said, Fukuhara is crushing it. And that was really all we got with Frenchie this week too. Was just kind of that one pop in, and where they are and how that ties into his own story and what she's doing. It's a very interesting place for these two characters, and we really only see them for a brief second. We also get, nice little tidbits for Queen Maeve. It's interesting to watch how this series continues to utilize functioning superhero storylines, and the show's about superheroes, but uses them, like I said, as their celebrities, but also as their acting community. We know that they're making this movie, Dawn of the Seven. The Supes are acting in the movie, so things that are happening in the real world with Homelander behind a lot of it are changing things in the script in real time. So things that are going on with Queen Maeve are being manipulated and used against her by Homelander continually, which is this just really interesting, complicated, intricate storyline going on with, specifically Maeve's sexuality. And the fact that she's bisexual, what that really means to Homelander and how he can use it to manipulate her, along with showing us, what's actually happening, on set in this movie. It's just fascinating to watch the way that Kripke works from crafting this story, and the way you can use these little beats to have really, really serious conversations about things that go on in the real world, but also apply it in a way that makes it so unique and specific to this show. And the stuff that they're doing with Maeve this year, it's really interesting. And again, much like Kimiko, it's we're getting these little chunks. I'm I want to dive into this, but it's hard to dive into it when you have two dominating storylines with a C storyline that's right there with them. Specifically this time around, when it comes to the boys, while Frenchie and Kimiko kind of have that little side tangent, Butcher's having a mental breakdown, as is Homelander, and watching the people that interact with them and how they respond to what's going on has been wonderful to watch. For Butcher, he's found his wife, had a way out, and she says no. So he's got to deal with that this week. And his immediate fight or flight response isn't necessarily what you would think to associate with Butcher, but also fits the character quite well. And it allows for a little family reunion of sorts for his character. And because Mother's Milk knows him so well, and Butcher, has an affinity for Huey, that when Huey calls him and is you basically to apologize, I'm not mad, and minor spoilers, but you could have said goodbye type of thing when he kind of dips out. Mother's Milk, he finds out that he talks, he's tell me everything. And they're able to put two and two together, and it kind of runs their storylines into each other, mixed in with a little sprinkle of Black Noir in this wonderful suburb setting. The face-off between Black Noir and the boys in this suburb is a lot of fun to watch. It's again, a small chess game going on. And constantly, people just trying to outthink and outdo each other. And where that all plays out and ends up, specifically because we're dealing with Black Noir, really, really fun stuff. And also tense moments that allow you to have a lot of fun. While on the flip side, we're watching Homelander lose his mind in a way that is beyond terrifying. That one other shock moment was one of these things where you just kind of understand where he is mentally, and the fact that he still has some control, but man, is he one or two things not going his way from going off the rails. And watching things not play his way is interesting this week, right? Specifically with where he left off last week, kind of realizing that he only needs himself to a degree, and how he handles that internally. It was portrayed wonderfully at the end of last week's episode, but carries over into this week where it's I can do everything myself, get out of my way, and when that's not working, someone who's starting to spiral out thought he figured it out. It's not working. What do you do? And watching that happen in the episode itself was fascinating because, they kind of pick up where they left off in the sense that he's spiraling out, needs to figure out how to fix things himself, but he, has been a little off kilter. He's been a little reckless. And some of that recklessness plays into the episode where it just kind of progresses how he spirals out. And when things aren't working for him, you're like, where is that going to take you? And the glimpse we get of where he is mentally is terrifying. And the fact that he kind of goes and leans on the other scary force in this show, in Stormfront, starts to show something that is pretty scary. And the way Stormfront kind of plays into the episode has obviously a big to do with Homelander's story, but also again with Starlight. We get a little bit of that Starlight action with Stormfront, and again, it's just more of that chess game, and each one just continues to play moves where it's like, I figured this out. Oh, you figured this out. Well, I figured this out. And, it's fun to watch Stormfront continually be impressed with the little things that Starlight is doing. And watching, Aaron Moriarty and Aya Cash on screen is just so much fun. And where they're taking Stormfront and Aya Cash, I mean, like I said, the stuff with Homelander, specifically where the episode ends. Oh, it's so much fun to watch these two sadistic people interact with each other the way they do at the end of the episode. And then it's just terrifying to think what that means and what the repercussions of the end of the episode can mean for everyone else. And, there is also a couple other small, soups beats where you have A-Train dealing with, potentially being kicked out of the 7, but maybe not really because, diversity is a thing that's been brought up to Homelander. So maybe he's in, maybe he's out. And the way that they play with that storyline and where it actually is, again, they're able to utilize the movie to a degree to kind of have some of these real life conversations. And there's a real important convo that kind of happens, with A-Train's story, and it happens during coverage, so that they're shooting his coverage. And if you know what that means, it doesn't mean that who he needs to talk to is actually in front of him. It could be a body double. And then, of course, like I said, there were some good laugh moments with the Deep. Him buying in more and more to this religious cult is just hysterical in the way that he carries himself, the way that he's helping, this, so-called religion. And just all those little beats are nice to kind of break up things throughout the course of the episode to kind of bring down some of the tension, because there's a lot of it. And just watching that stuff play out has been really, really fascinating. And I just love watching how these small supporting stories, I mean, even on the boys' side, when you add in what Mother's Milk and Huey are doing, and how Huey is starting to understand what he actually means to Butcher. The little, suburban side route that they take this week opens up some more things to Huey where he's like, oh, and even us where we're like, that's what's going on. And just, I love how you're watching these supporting stories just build up Homelander and Butcher in particular. And then you kind of just have Stormfront doing her own thing. Like, she's bouncing off everybody's story and just elevating past everyone. I'm in love with Aya Cash. She's so freaking good this season. But there you go, man. Those are all my non-spoiler thoughts on The Boys. Season 2, Episode 5. We gotta go now. Another story heavy, but gave us the pops that you want, and I really am intrigued at where we're going this season. Now I want to know what you're thinking, man. Was episode 5 working for you? Where does it fall within the course of the season? Do you like what they're doing with the story? Do you want more big surprises and pops? Following this episode, we got 3. Watch episode 6, and then this week will be episode 7, and next week will be episode 8. So we're coming down the home stretch. I think those pops are going to start coming back in bigger, crazier ways. But the little bit that they get, man, it continues to entertain. Is it entertaining you? Anything you're thinking about this episode, what you're thinking of the characters, what you want to see down below in the comment section. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with the old C-Man and the rest of the C-Maniacs, you haven't yet, jump over there. Join the squad, man. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that little bell if you want those alerts. Until next time, for the C-Man Cinema Sit Down, I'm the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace. Well, I'll be. You guys are still here. You must be looking for some more content. Well, don't worry. C-Man's got you covered, man. You got videos like this guy and this guy. And if you haven't yet, and you want to come check out all the C-Man goodies, join the Cinema Sit Down squad, man. Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the little bell down below that, too, so you can get alerts every time I make new videos.